कैसे? Okay, fine, fine. हाँ, go live on YouTube. मेरे को जब दिखेगा तभी मैं. Let me check my YouTube real quick. And let's see.
You can have this feeling anytime you choose.
Yes, everybody, welcome back to Uzi Mumbai. Welcome to the first ever live for Uzi Mumbai, at least. And yeah, dude, we're just really excited right now. And I can see the live. I know there's like a 5 second, 6 second delay. But I don't think that should be too much of a problem right now. I hope you can see us. I hope you're not, there's not a lot of technical difficulties. I know there's maybe a bit of a audio lag between our audios and the videos, but I hope that's not too big of an issue, and we'll try to get it fixed for the next video. Shlok, how are you feeling?
Fucking euphoric. Hold on, let me just adjust my camera.
Yeah, no worries.
I see myself. Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, this feels great because for the past 1 hour we've been trying to set this up and then we were just
Oh
stressing
my
and then
God.
like right at 6:55 we got it sorted.
Yeah, we got something going
Ah!
on. Oh God, I hope nobody comes in and nobody just barges into through my door and starts shouting something, because that's something that's very likely to happen in my house.
Yeah. All right. So
Yep. So
let's go to the questions. Yeah.
Yep. So last time I think a couple of days ago, we put out a tweet, and we put out through most of the West Coast Brigade groups, that we're going live. So and we'll probably be answering some of your questions and hopefully give a satisfactory answer. So we've got a lot of questions, and I'm really really excited because we have got some couple of really really good questions, and yeah, I think we'll be answering
let's
them
let's
now.
kick it off.
Yep. So Shlok.
So, first question from Hemang. What's been the
Yeah.
story behind Uzi Mumbai? Where did this thought come up from, and how's the journey been so far?
Okay,
Uh,
wait. I can see
First of
in the
all,
chats my brothers shit posting Uzi, and that's my name by the way. So I'll copy strike you there. But yeah, coming back.
first of all, shout out to Hemang, man. That guy he's a real G, man. This guy was sharing links before while we were setting up things, and it's just amazing
I
how
love
much he
Hemang.
supports us, and
Thank you,
love
Hemang.
him.
Love you. So yeah, coming back to the question, I think 3 years ago I started this shit channel called Uzi Woozy, which my brother conveniently stole the name from, and so I think I posted like a Football Manager video there about a league structure, something, but then the file got corrupted, and I cried that I lost most of my saves, and then I gave up on the channel. Then when we had the plan of starting a YouTube channel, Shlok came over to my place. We recorded our first video, and then I said, I have the first channel already, so why not just convert that into
Yeah.
into this channel? So that's what we did. Uzi Woozy, that was the channel, became Uzi Mumbai, and
Yeah. We
and,
don't support gun violence, so like, it's just
there's no gun violence. And shout out to Anand, who's kind of pissed in the chats. Thank you. Stole and made better. Fuck off. No ways. Anyways, so that was the whole process there. That's pretty much it. Stupid, but
yeah.
that's what it is.
Journey so far. Well, it's been fun. It's been a bit weird because at first we didn't commit to the channel properly, so we're like, let's just make some videos and put out our opinions. Where like back when we didn't script anything properly, it was just us talking.
Yeah. We still don't.
Yeah. Yeah, we're still kind of shit. But we're trying now. We've decided to be more consistent, and we have like a proper process going about how we do things.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're actually working, and now we're serious about it, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just 4 videos in 8 months now, so I guess it's in a way it's better.
Weekly uploads.
Yep.
No, I'm not promising that.
Yeah, don't promise anything over here.
So next question.
Yep.
Anand says, why should European football fans in Mumbai start supporting Mumbai City FC now?
Shlok, what do you think? Why should they support Mumbai City now?
Okay, first of all, there is no other reason. Ideally, there is no other reason apart from it being your hometown.
Yeah.
Always support where you come from, no matter what, right? And Europe can only take you so far in terms of social standing, because it's like you're not connected to that club as personally, if you ask me. It's like what they're doing there in England. You have no bearing on that, and they have no bearing on you. Like you tell your friends like, oh yeah, look, my team won this weekend, I'm so cool, but you're really not, because you weren't there. You didn't help them. But when it's your local club, you feel like you're contributing.
Yeah.
You're there, that organic movement, you're going, you're shouting, your players know you know your players.
Yeah.
It's like an actual family, and it feels very different. So if there are any people who end up watching this and are European fanboys, I would urge them, come to the stadium, look at what it's like, because there was a point of time where I thought ISL was shit.
Yeah.
And eventually, summer got me into this, and I've been really grateful for that, because it's euphoric.
I agree. I mean, I think right now, if you're talking specifically about Mumbai City FC, I think the CFG deal is like a landmark deal. Obviously, ISL made sure to use the word landmark about 100,000 times, and but I think what's really specific here, because of CFG, this is the beginning of a new era for Mumbai City FC, and what I believe is that regardless of how we've been in the past 6 months, from here on now, we can either exponentially grow or stay the same. There's no going down. So if we are exponentially, if we are exponentially meant to grow, I think the people, the general population of Mumbai, the townies or the European fanboys, they're going to look at it and go, okay, we have two choices here. We're going to look at the logo. They'll think that, okay, is this a new club? Is this the old club? Because if CFG advertises it, absolutely properly and absolutely perfectly, it could almost be a starting from, ground zero, and people could just come in and think that, this is the beginning of something, and then try to join in on the basement and not, and not just, I don't know.
Tanvir says, speak louder. Sorry.
Yep. I'll just increase my mic volume here. I hope that's okay now. I don't know. I haven't tested my mic at least so far for the live stream, but I hope it's fine now. I hope it's fine.
Hashtag speak louder summer. Okay.
Hashtag speak louder summer. That should not be an issue anytime soon. Okay. Yeah. So I think people need to at least the Mumbai people, they need they look at the CFG and they look at how City Football Group advertises everywhere, and if it's worth following, people in Mumbai will follow. If it has a cool factor, it has the snob appeal, people will follow in Mumbai, and I think CFG brings exactly that, the snob appeal and the professionalism that is probably lacking from the club in the past 2 years, 3 years, in terms of advertising, in terms of outreach. Yeah, I guess.
Vaibhav's reading the ticker. He says it's very intellectual. Yeah.
It's from that. I'll probably leave a link on the WCV group, or I'll DM you the song if you haven't heard it. But yeah, the song is really weird. I'll change the ticker. No worries. Yeah, but look, let's go on to the next question.
Also from Vaibhav, a lot of football clubs are having a community identity. What can Mumbai do in that respect? I know it's weird to first form a club and then the community, but how can we or should we form that identity?
Okay, so Shlok, what do you feel? What do you think?
So I think we in Mumbai we have like a lot of humongous elements. You've got Bollywood, we've got hip hop, and we've got diversity. We've got the whole the sea thing, like marine export, gateway of India. Wow. So just many factors where we can put out content on that basis. We can because I think our diversity is our strength. So when we're looking at connecting to the club, right, I don't think there is any particular regional stigma that the club can ever uphold, unknowingly or knowingly, which can deter people from other regions.
Yeah.
It's not going to be, So, now I don't mean to like be disrespectful or anything, but let's just take a club like Jamshedpur, for example, okay? People outside Jamshedpur may not connect to Jamshedpur enough. Because, I mean, it's not really a melting pot of sorts, People who support Jamshedpur are 99% from Jamshedpur or live there. So you lose out on a big chunk of audience in that sense. What do you think?
I think in terms of community, I think Mumbai has a very rich, diverse football. It has a lot of football in it. You look at the MDFA and you look at any footballer who's playing in the MDFA, they love football and they love the city, they love MDFA, and they have a lot of loyalty for the club, in MDFA. I think because Mumbai is such a massive city, it's really hard to, almost find that common point of where do we support or who do we, properly support. Like, for example, if I'm from like Huashi, and if there's some guy from Kolaba, which is town, then you're gonna have a lot of differences of opinion. You're gonna have a lot of differences in how they are in general behavior, and so for them to come together and find a common point in liking Mumbai City FC is very hard. right? So you have to play a lot on the general history. You have to play a lot on, uh, you know, you have to play a lot on for the commonalities that we have, like, I don't know, the ocean or the footballing culture here, the clubs. And I think most of it will stem from not only grassroots, but also because of how exactly well we represent ourselves throughout the city in terms of everything. Community building is essential, but for a city this big, it's really hard as well. I think City Football Group have a massive uh,
I think,
massive job at their hands. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's something Tanuj Baru has pointed out on the chat. He says, ironically, the cosmopolitan nature of the city is also the reason support is on the lower side. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember last year when the West Coast Brigade were invited for the Liverpool Man United screening in Phoenix, right, which is in town, and not exactly town, it's in Kamla Mills, but we were called there, not Kamla Mills. Fuck, it doesn't matter. So we were called there, right, and there were about 2,500 people there, and it was crazy because 2,500 people, all of them chanting, all of them have the banners, all of them have the slogans, all of them have their scarves. They're all hyped up, they're chanting and chanting. When we got the players up on the top of the stage as well to call them onto the screen, onto the match for the semi-finals before the Goa semi-final, they're all responding well, but then it didn't translate into anything. And I think the big reason for that is people still just don't care about the club enough. People don't care about Mumbai City FC. People don't care about ISL because for them it's not worth following. There is not the the cool factor. There isn't the social appeal, the social quality that they desire in not only club but in football. And so I think yes,
True.
the cosmopolitan nature of the city is the reason support is on the lower side. But if the club looks like it's very cool, it's very good, I think people will come in flocks and people come in herds to follow Mumbai City FC, because then it becomes worth following, almost like a hippie thing. But it is what it is, and I think it'll take time, but we'll have to
Yeah.
look at
So
it.
we see, one second. Veed Mania says that, hi, my question is, what do you think about our last season? What went wrong?
Wait.
I think we've had.
We'll come to that later because we have certain questions from other people as well regarding that, right?
your alliances. Would you support Summer CFG or Man United? Something Hemang asked a while back.
I mean, I'm wearing my city scarf right now, my Mumbai City FC scarf, so I think that should answer any questions. Yeah, I do have my United scarf. I'll wear that when the season reopens.
Okay. Do we move on to the next question?
Yeah.
Okay. Comes from Mayuresh. It's a very interesting question. He says, with all the rumors around, what do you think about the front three for this year, and how is it better as compared to the previous years?
I don't think we have a settled front three yet either. I think we're still in the hunt for a striker. I think we're in hunt for a left winger. We see ourselves linked with strikers and left wingers as well. We have Vikram Pratap and Farooq Chaudhary at right, so that's pretty good. But our front three isn't settled yet. I think we're still a long way to go till we have a solid front three.
Yeah.
That,
Uh,
yeah.
And as we know, there's going to be some sort of foreign influence on the front three. It's either going to be a completely foreign front three, or it's going to be, one winger, one striker, something like that. And because we don't know that yet, I can't tell.
Yeah.
But if we take this question and ask, which front three was better, the one in season 6 or the one in season 5? And I think that's something a lot of people wanted to know, not only on Twitter but in the comments of the previous video. So, what do you think about that?
I think in terms of just the front three quality wise, I think season 5 was definitely better. I think Bastos was an excellent player. Isoko was in his prime. Sugu was scoring goals for us inconsistently, but he was scoring goals, and Bastos snuck in with a couple of goals here and there as well. So it wasn't that we weren't scoring. But this year, our front three, if you consider our front three to be Larbi, Sugu, and Carlos, would you say that's a front three?
Chermiti,
Chermiti.
Carlos, Sugu. Yeah.
Chermiti, Carlos, Sugu. Okay, I think in terms of what Costa wanted, I don't know. I think season 5, our front three was definitely 100 times better. Not just in terms of quality, in terms of what they were required to do as well. We were asked to play on the counter. They did that very well. They had the pace, they had the finishing. Obviously, we made a video, one of our earlier videos on Bastos and his poor positioning and how it didn't help us in terms of how good it should have been for us if he had been playing as the number 10, right? But I think this year the tactics played a massive part in our players not being 100% at the best. What do you think, though?
Yeah, so like if we look at season 5's front three, we look at Arnold de Soco, right? This guy's coming in his prime from the Portuguese first division. Massive, absolutely massive. Did we have a player like that in season 6 who's coming from like big European division, prime? Not really. A lot of our players were, I think all of our front four, including Labi, were over the age of 30, right?
Yeah.
Kevin was the only one who wasn't, and he looked like he was subpar.
He was very subpar. No,
he was very,
Don't mean to be condescending, but
yeah, I mean it's like it's undivided opinion. Like, I don't think anyone was satisfied with him. But yeah, one thing that really racked my mind was why was Sugu pushed out wide? He proved himself in India. Okay, not as consistent as Okbeche or Koro, but still very effective. Like he scored twice as many as Chermiti.
Yeah.
Right. So why did Costa make that switch where he thought, okay, I'm gonna buy Chermiti and then I'm gonna push Sugu out wide, who is also a 35-year-old and has lost some pace. So it's just something that's worth wondering about, and something maybe we can look back and say, okay, I think that's where there was a problem.
I think definitely. Look, when Chermiti came, right, I was very, very excited because I love strikers like those, those fox in the box. So they'll be at the right place in the right time. And looking at Chermiti before Mumbai, that's exactly what he was. His finishing was impeccable. His determination is great. But most importantly, the way he used to run off the ball, right? And I was very excited because I was hoping, because we needed a proper number 9, because Sugu was good, but he was very inconsistent, and we used to talk about how we needed a centre back. I mean, not a centre forward. So when Chermiti came, I was properly excited. But then the way he was used, if we have a 5'8" striker, why would you put crosses into the box? Why would you get a right-footed left winger to play on the left if you're going to be putting in crosses over and over again? It didn't make any sense to me. I think there was a massive mash-up between what Costa wanted to see in the second season and what he eventually played his team out to, and that difference in level, probably cost us a lot this season. Regardless,
I think it's a good time to just repurpose the question a bit, and that's my sister in the room who just
casually walked out.
I don't know. So this was something RK Prabha had asked. Why did Costa change his style from a successful counter-attacking one to a possession-based one? And I feel that this is a more relevant question to assign to what we're describing right now.
Yeah.
So might as well get that out of the way. So sorry, go on with what you were saying.
So, I mean, when we were playing on the counter, we were very good. But I think what Costa quickly realized is teams that press, because if you're countering, right, you're expecting to win the ball and in the next 6, 7, 8, 10 seconds maybe get the ball from back to front and have an attempt on goal, right? that works really well if the other team isn't going to counter press you. Costa realized very quickly, not very quickly, took him a season, but I think after the first match against Goa, then the match against Northeast, he realized that any team that's going to be countering, that's going to be pressing hard, there's no way, the team properly settled. They could never counter. They can't keep possession. They can't even win the ball back. And I think people talk a lot about the Goa game, that was the turning point. I think the match that this was really evident was the match against Northeast United at home. I think the way they pressed, I hadn't seen pressing that good live. And big props to Elko Shitori. I'm a massive fan of him, of his work, and I think that match really showed us that there's no way we can play the way we do against teams that do press so well, like Goa and Northeast. And
It's
that's
yeah, sorry.
yeah. Continue you saying?
Yeah. So it's just like even when you're countering and you're relinquishing possession of the ball, you get really hassled when you have an efficient high pressing system against you, because it's just that you don't get that time to put those precise long balls in, and almost every time you have the ball, you have a player that's right around you about to make a tackle, and you're just pegged back, and that's an issue that we really faced. And that's probably why Costa thought that he should shift to a high pressing system, and unfortunately it didn't work, because a lot of times we just saw Chermiti running his socks off and nobody else was supporting him. He's going at 2-3 defenders, but no wingers covering the fullbacks, nothing of that sort.
Yeah, so, I think the plan wasn't as clear as Costa would have hoped, right? And I don't know. Look, he's a great man management. He has excellent man management. He's an excellent motivator. Obviously, from his playing days, that's very, very evident. You've seen Mourinho make quotes about how good he is as a manager, as a player, and motivating the players, and that brings you, gets you a long way forward in management. But I think the modern game requires the tactical astuteness and the reading of the game, which I just don't think Costa was able to reproduce as well as he would have hoped this year, and I think that cost us.
People in the
chat, there's a very good point here by Sagar, and obviously a great guy, Sagar, love you. So he says we need a striker who will bang in those goals like Ogbeche or Koro or Miku. That's also something that will attract the crowd, though. I know we need a good striker. We probably, under Costa, we should have Ogbeche or Shlock continuously told us that Santana, Aridane would have been so good for Costa. He would have been so good. I think it won't bring in the crowd. I think that's because the people in Mumbai just don't know about them. They just don't know, and they just don't care about Ogbeche, or they don't care about Koro, because they don't know about them. Why would they?
Yeah, but it's just about, we go back to that question about how much does a marquee signing help? Sure, you get a lot of PR points. You get people coming in saying, "Oh, Forlan's playing in my city, might as well go watch him." But then Forlan was still decent for us. But if you take an example of someone like Del Piero, who just scored 1 goal throughout the season,
a free kick.
Yeah,
no shade, Delhi guys. No shade, Delhi guys.
Lethal strikers, 25% work done. Absolutely. That's something we had as an issue last season as well. Created so many chances, but we just kept missing. And that's where the blame goes off Costa. He did his job, and we could have gotten into top 4. I'm not going to say that, he was absolutely in the wrong. No. It's the players were also responsible somewhere in not finishing, as many chances as an average ISL side would.
Yeah. Individual performances always, they just poor. Also,
next question.
Clyde has this point here where he says that point to what Saga is saying, that that will start getting us crowds, and those wins will get us crowds probably. Yeah, that's obviously obvious. When we saw the lead up to BFC game, we were decent, and the BFC crowd was mind blowing. I mean, I love the crowd that we have in the BFC fixtures nowadays, and
Yeah, people know it's something to visit, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Hemlata says, hi, a question for both of you. If Mumbai had an option of buying Gurpreet and selling club legend Amrinder, would you be happy or sad?
I'll
Sad.
be disgusted. I'm sorry, but if
We
we
did
sold,
that with Goyan, and if we sell Amrinder, I will kill myself.
look, Gurpreet Singh Sandhu is not a liked man in Mumbai, at least as long as he has the BFC jersey on him. But if we sell Amrinder, there's no way anyone in Mumbai is going to be like, oh yeah, that's probably a decent move. No chance. I think everyone in Mumbai loves Amrinder way too much. We loved Goyan way too much, and when he left, that genuinely hurt. It didn't hurt as much as when Mkhitaryan left United. I loved Mkhitaryan, but I was distraught when he left.
Much,
But when Goyan left,
so much we came out of the dead and made a video on it.
oh crap! Yes, it hurt that much. That was the amount of motivation we had. You know what? Though? I'm really surprised that we still have so many people, watching.
12 people, dude. I am so happy with this.
I'm really, honestly, this means so much, and thank you guys so much.
Yeah. After working 9 to 5, if I come to see players like Miku, Koro, and Ukpeche banging goals, I'll be happy irrespective of them being not so well. Absolutely, yeah. Everyone
you have
wants
to be
it.
there. You have to be there.
Yeah.
Just to get
I think
the
he's
people
trying to
there.
say, like,
Yeah, I know.
I think what someone's trying to say is, if you're a European fan, you won't know these names, so that's not really attractive to you, So in that sense,
It
but
may
at the
make
same
the
time,
team look better though, which is a really good point. It's obviously playing well always gets, it always gets you crowd. So yeah, I think we've spoken too much on this question.
Yeah, Anuj said good stuff. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Anuj,
Oh my god.
I cannot believe
Anuj
it.
said good stuff. Thank you, Anuj. Next question though. We spent a lot of time on this one.
Yeah, let's move on.
Why don't Costa give Rainier 90 minutes in most of the matches? And this is linked to some questions that we have, asking how Rainier will do under Lobera.
Shlo, can I ask you a question though?
Yeah.
Look, my memory isn't serving me right, but if I'm not wrong, Rainier played more minutes this season than he did last season, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Because the video we made on Rainier after his contract extension, I think that's the point you were discussing. So, look, maybe Costa didn't, Costa still thought he's a young player. He still needs a lot of time to develop, but he played more minutes, and that is something that we need to look at instead of how many games he played. So,
let's remember two things.
Yeah.
One is we had a foreign player in his position. We had Larvi.
Yeah.
And that man is not easy to displace. He was one of our major signings, right? And the second thing is Rainier was injured at some parts of the season.
Yeah.
So naturally you can't expect him to play a full 18. I think he started 9 this year and played in 12. So I think that's actually pretty good when you consider a season where a foreign player in your position and at the same time you are injured. So, and the 3-year extension. So I think he is here to stay and he knows that as well.
Yep. And bringing us to the next question, how will he play under Lobera? Shlok, what do you think? How will he play under Lobera?
So I think we already, as we talked about this in the previous video, we expect him in 2 roles. One is either a Brandon Fernandes role where he is listed as a winger, but he's more of a playmaker.
Yeah.
So he probably drifting into the left half space. Yeah. Giving those passes, the penetrative passes in the when you see Goa play, you see how Brandon plays and he gives those it's a bit hard to describe. Like he just slides the ball into Bumu, right? Yeah. Stuff like that. Or he could play like Bumu and be a number 10, proper in the middle, attacking the box, feeding the striker, something of that sort. Scorer and creator.
Yeah, because we've seen him do that. We've seen him score. We've seen him create. And personally, I think he's a much better number 10 than he is probably a winger, at least right now. Especially
Yeah.
it's interesting point though. Look, we've been linked with left wingers, right? We have almost
Yeah.
guaranteed signed right wingers. We're
Hmm.
linked with strikers. We aren't linked with any number 10s.
True.
And
True.
I think that's because either Lubera has a number 10 in his mind, or he believes that the number 10 he wants is already in the club. And I think that's Rainier, if that is the case.
Yeah. We have a question from Clyde asking us what is our opinion on FSDL's so-called fan culture
Oh, yeah.
and what they are trying to do with
Clyde
our
genuinely
family
hates that.
friendly.
Clyde just genuinely
Oh,
hates
man.
FSDL and all this bullshit.
Uh,
Also, Manas.
what's Mario's opinion? Someone, can we see
Manas
Mario?
would have shut the door, and I'm probably sure Mario's sleeping so that he's going to wake us up
Yeah.
at night. But
Manas-
Manas, thank you. Thank you so much. You know,
Manas is a real G.
Manas is a real G. He
Yeah.
also had a point earlier that if CFG make their if CFG can make the marketing strategies correct along with sign excellent players, then we are looking at a rising powerhouse in Indian football like Kolkata, Goa, and Kerala. I think moreover than that, if we have the perfect academy, you're going to see Mumbai take over all of these cities in the next 10 years max.
Easily.
Easy.
We're already beating some of them.
Easy. Yes.
Bangalore, bitchy. Machado can play the number 10 role. Absolutely, he can. But he's 34. He is, I think, in my opinion, he's a better 6 because he doesn't do as well with tight spaces. Or there's this so he's been losing the ball more often. That's one stat I looked at
Yeah.
a while back, right? So I think he might be pushed into being a backup this year,
Yeah.
or probably shipped off to some other team, for some transfer money. I don't know, honestly. I want him to stay though, so
I
But-
want him to stay, but I don't think.
it's not up.
Yeah, I don't think he's a Lubera number 10. Lubera number 10s are really dynamic in the play.
Very
And,
mobile players, yeah.
and as Clyde said, that this definitely convert into results, and looking at how Lubera wants his team to play, that's just exciting. I can't wait
Yeah.
for the Lubera era.
It's funny how Goa announced their new manager, but we haven't.
Yeah, I don't know. I think.
There's,
Okay, wait,
there's
that's going to be a new creative, Lubera era. Lubera. That's what.
Lubera.
Yep.
That's good.
Yep.
There's some questions about how we would be under Lubera, what formation we would play. There's like 3-4 people.
Yeah.
Oh, Vaibhav's going. Bye, Vaibhav.
Bye,
Thank you
Vaibhav.
so much for
Thank you so
coming.
much for coming.
Thank you so
Really appreciate it.
Right. So how Mumbai would function under Lubera formation-wise, tactic-wise? What do you think?
We did do a video on this. When I saved the video, the title was Lubera Ghar Aaya. Mera Lubera Ghar Aaya, but besides the point. I think again, we're going to set up in a 4-2-3-1. Obviously, that's how he loves to play. We are going to have that conventional, back the back four, right? You have Mandar Rao Desai, who is a very specialized left back. If you look at him, he's not a crossing genius, he's not a crossing expert, and he's not a tackling expert. So what makes him so essential to the Lubera side? It's those little, diagonal balls he plays inside to the middle of the park from the left hand side, or the plays in the half spaces to the overlapping maybe winger, or the overlapping maybe Boomu, who's swapping places with Brandon for the tap in. And that what makes him so special, because if you look at Sheraton, if I'm not wrong, Sheraton has decent crossing, like number wise.
Yeah, relatively better, I'd say.
Yeah, and he probably crosses a bit more than Mandar. And
Yeah, Mandar's more of someone who's there to stretch the pitch.
Yeah.
So what he'll do is, attract that fullback onto him. So that space that we have between the fullback and the centre
Centre
back,
back,
that's
yeah.
where, your wingers or your attacking mids can just slide in. Tectro
Yeah.
says, good job, guys. Thank you,
damn,
guys.
Thank you.
It's,
Thank you.
it's a big channel. It's really flattered.
Dude, this is overwhelming though. I can't
This is
even
amazing,
believe what the hell's happening.
Yeah. So that's, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, so that what makes him, very special to the Lobera side. So that's how I expect the back four, the Motada fall as a ball playing centre back, but also that really strong, can't get past me kind of character in the centre back
Roman
position.
Reigns.
And then you have the other centre back, whoever that is. We probably expect maybe Sarthak goalie because Lobera would want a attacking right back, right? And then that's our back four. In the two, we have Borges, who's going to be the Lenny Rodriguez role. Win the ball, shuttle goat, absolute. He's going to be shuttling between the midfield lines and maybe a little more, help out in defense a little, help out in attack a little. And then we're going to see Ahmed Jahu as that deep line playmaker because all his transfer is almost a guarantee as well.
Yeah.
Right, so he's going to be that deep line playmaker, and I think he's the best deep line playmaker in India right now, and great signing.
Yeah.
So that's how our back four and the midfield two looks. Then you have your front three, and we've discussed about this quite a bit. We expect an inside left forward, number 10, and a crossing right winger.
Yeah.
And then number 10, whether that be a fox in a box or a tall target man. Because if you think about it, Lobera is doing something Jurgen Klopp does a lot. He has that false nine in Firmino, and then he has that Manveer Singh, Divock Origi as a target man to get the crosses in, get the headers in. It's very surprising how
So
he
like
uses,
a last minute option kind of a situation.
if you like 1-0 down, 15 minutes, you get that big target man and to get the headers away.
I think it's something like almost every club has. You look at like not necessarily the false nine thing, but the target man thing. You look at Tottenham where they had Fernando Llorente. You look
Yeah.
at Chelsea, they have Giroud.
Yeah.
Fuck European football though. I mean,
Yeah, but that's
we
something.
digress.
It's something quite interesting. So that's how I expect my Lobera system to be. But what do you think though?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty much the same thing. You're looking at a lot of possession. You're looking at a lot of verticality.
Yeah,
Basically,
but you're
those
looking at
two main aspects.
You're looking at good pressing and good counters.
स्वागत नहीं करोगे हमारा सर शुभम करेंगे सर बिल्कुल करेंगे हेलो कैसे हो सर
Namaste.
People in chat saying we're gonna make a T4 like Mount Rushmore with Lobera, Costa and Koimares faces on it to honor them. Why not?
Yeah.
Rushmore is 4. Would you want an alcohol? Peter Reed Summer.
Watson. I want Watson. Watson on it. I know Watson Fernando.
Anuj.
on there.
All 4
I
faces
want
are
Anuj on it. We want Anuj on it.
Anuj on Rushmore. Let's see. Okay. We've discussed a lot of Lobera stuff. Almost all are the same questions.
Yeah.
Okay, Sagar with another interesting question. Indian football scene has been all about spending on the top tier of the pyramid, that is by both organizers and clubs. Do you think CFG will also do the same, or will they spend considerable amount on players and infrastructure development as well? This question overlaps a lot with what others have asked. I think Yash Bagadi had asked, how much success do we expect and in what form do we expect it? And others have asked about infrastructure and all. So what do you think?
Look, the pattern they follow, right, it's quite similar everywhere they go. So you look at New York, you look at Melbourne, you look at now Montevideo talk, you look at that I think, and City, obviously Man City, they do surprise, so they do spend a lot, but they don't mindlessly spend on just signings, at least not in the other teams. Yeah, maybe in City, yeah, because court hearing and all in June 8th, Anuj, I remember. So I think they are going to develop infrastructure immensely, but nowhere have they gone and developed like the stadium. But that's because they haven't had to yet. Everywhere they've gotten a very good stadium. You look at Army Park in Melbourne. You look at the stadium in Montevideo, or you look at the Yankee Stadium in New York. But what they've done specifically is create an elite academy in that area, whether it be a little outside the city limits or whatever. But they have created that elite academy. In New York, they did it in, I think, Orange County. I'm not sure what the term. Oh, Williams. I can't remember. Right? They did it in Melbourne, and now they've already started work for the Montevideo one. So that's something that is definitely going to happen. So the money is going to be spent a lot, but I think it's going to be spent a lot on infrastructure, and obviously the players are going to come in. But I think the manager has a big say in who he wants.
Yeah. Summer, you said stadium. Now that's something that's under a lot of discussion. People are asking, is a shift to DY Patil possible? Is it something that would be good? Would we get more fans there? So what's your take on it?
Look, shift to DY Patil, right? Even though personally for me it's better because DY Patil is closer to my home than Andheri is. I wouldn't want to shift to DY Patil. Yeah, we're going to get more crowd. Definitely, because I think it's the snob appeal, right? In Navi Mumbai, you don't have the snob appeal that much, at least. You don't have the elitism per se that you have in Mumbai. We're going to get more people, but in terms of development of the blueprint, in terms of development of what the city and what the club stands for, I don't think it's a good move. I think it's definitely not a good move at all.
Okay. Well, if we are going to DY Patil, I'm going to move into your house. It's too far for me, man. It's way too far. This one time, under 17 World Cup tha, and I know Spain versus Mali, and I even remember talking to Anuj about this, and that fucker was making me feel really jealous because apparently there was like a ghost goal or some shit, right? So I had tickets for that, and I was supposed to go with a friend, and ye match tha DY Patil mein. And my friend bailed last minute, and then my mom didn't let me go. So if that's something I'm gonna have to fight every time there's a match, it's gonna be horrible.
Yeah. Look, I know people in the chats, they're saying DY Patil is good for us, but I think the soul of the city is not DY Patil.
It's not as accessible if you think about it. Andheri, it's connected to all three lines, and it's very easy for people to come right in after work. Yeah. For me, like, I get done with work at 7, and there's been times where I just run to Andheri and I made it 5 minutes before match started.
Yeah.
So, and it's just what a game. Yeah. Stop it. Okay. Stop it. I wasn't there.
Hemang, is Navi Mumbai? No, not really. But probably don't tell Adarsh about it. He gets pissed.
But yeah. Clyde also says DY is a bad idea because pitch is miles away from the crowd. Absolutely. I love small stadiums because it emphasizes how much impact we have on the team. When we're chanting, everyone can hear it, and it feels really good when it's that close to you. DY Patil gives you more of a spectator feel rather than, someone who's there by the pitch side.
Yeah. Manas says, what about Cooperage? I love the Cooperage. I love Cooperage. I love Churchgate, and it's very accessible, by train as well. But I don't know. It is a good option, obviously, but we have a lot of matches happening there. Plus, they use artificial turf in Cooperage, which is a big no-no for most of the clubs and most of the players. They say they hate the turf. So that's something that will have to be worked upon as. Plus, it's the hub of FIFA, right?
So, yeah, exactly. FIFA takes its training there.
Yeah, so a lot of teams do. I know Oscar takes his training there. What the hell? That's like 2 lakhs for an hour.
Damn. Hemang's asking me, is Navi Mumbai? No, Navi Mumbai is the other side. It's like a place you don't go to. and it's
like,
really weird for me.
It's
'Cause-
imagine if I had to go to Noida from Vasant Vihar.
Dwarka.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's
I've
like
never been
Noida
to
to
Dwarka,
Dwarka. They're
but
like
I've
on
been
either side
to
of
I've been to
Delhi.
Noida and I've been to Vasant Vihar, Vasant Kunj, not Vasant Vihar, Vasant Kunj. Sorry.
I have had one love in Navi Mumbai, and that was terrible. So, fucking Amrapali. I cannot afford another love in Navi Mumbai. It is going to be horrible. Okay.
It's not been good for us.
fuck.
Navi Mumbai hasn't been good for us. Okay, next question. Crap, we're spending.
Yeah. Oh man. Right. One person asked, under the CFG regime, how much do you see the club working more in terms of community engagement, thereby involving more youth in the mix?
100%. 100 times. I don't know. We expect like a massive overhaul of everything that's been happening in terms of community rebuild.
More school and college interactions. That's something that's on their sides. Yeah.
A lot of the social
Another joke.
outreach, MDFA, just a lot of tournaments. Because the 5-a-side, 7-a-side scene in Mumbai is immense, and I think if Mumbai could get itself integrated into that, I think there's just a massive exponential growth that we're looking at.
I'm cracking up. Anuj finds it disgusting. Okay. But definitely.
Anuj.
Because we know that ages 16 to 22, 23 are your prime demographic when you're coming to fan engagement. These are people who are energetic, people who have time and ideas, So it would be in the club's best interest, I think, to appeal to these people the most.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's going to be, even younger divisions where they go in maybe academies and, they try to interact with kids. So
Yeah.
Mumbai is their first club. So definitely, yeah.
Wait a minute. How do you spell Odisha?
ODISHA. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. It's SHIT. Bro.
Tech. Delhi. Animals.
In MFA, the pressure on opposition is damn good. Yeah.
Definitely.
We can make an atmosphere.
I remember Anand shouted, "Oi, Gurvinder!" And then he turns around while taking a throw. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Dude, the shit we do in stadiums is amazing. There's like, remember Jayesh
Whoa,
was there.
Stop. Anuj is right there. Don't let Anuj know anything.
We won't tell. I think Anuj also feels a lot of pressure in MFA.
Because we chant his name and then he doesn't turn around and then he goes, theek hai.
Yeah.
Like,
The Odisha says a bit like that. What takes, man?
okay.
Very rich coming from summer. Oh, okay.
Whoa.
But-
Where's that? I can't.
Anuj is like very rich coming from summer.
Oh. Damn, Anuj. I'll see you.
Damn, Anuj.
I'll see you one day.
Uh,
Next question.
Next question. Let's try to find something. We discussed CFG. We discussed Lobera. How do you think Miko is a good signing? That's something that's coming from Sagar Shinde. What do you think about him, given
Look.
his age, given his experience?
Look, Miku is a quality player, but I don't want a 34-year-old striker. That's my whole opinion on Miku. Plus, I don't know. Considering, he's a quality player. If you want him for one season, good, go ahead. But I think if Lobera wants a bigger, project at hand, he wouldn't want a 34-year-old striker.
Yeah. Hemang says remove Delhi Dynamos or lose a subscriber. Remove it, dude.
Okay.
Hemang is like a 30% stake owner in this channel at this point.
What do I write?
Clyde asking. Oh fuck, I don't know, man. Just do the Pune Hyderabad thing, man.
P-Tech, WCB. I think that works.
Oh man. What would you say is the difference between a WCB and WBB?
Oh my god, that question just popped in.
Okay, I will tell you. one isn't racist, and the second is racist but calls it banter. Okay.
We don't crap, man. I don't even care about WPB. I don't. Those aren't even in the West. I mean,
www.
oh yeah, that's going to change in a second.
Anuj
Wait, wait,
Tifo
wait.
coming soon.
I love Anuj Tifo. We'll make Anuj Tifo.
Put that in the ticker, na, just like I love Anuj.
I love Anuj. We love Anuj.
I like the CFG one. Who is CFG? And if it's so big, why doesn't it fight me? People asking, what are the advantages of CFG? What measures will CFG take to improve infrastructure, grassroots? Yeah, we discussed this. Maybe we'll even see more youth teams. Like I think right now the lowest we have is under 12 or under 13. So maybe we'll see. Do we have an under 8?
No, they don't like function.
I mean, we have like golden leagues and stuff though, right? Like that's something where.
Oh wait. I think there's a bit of a confusion here. What we were saying is Odisha FC is just a very shit version of Delhi. So in case people took it the wrong way, I'm sorry. I wasn't insulting Delhi. I was insulting Odisha.
Yeah, BTEC is not nice. I'm doing BTEC and I know. So like, yeah. No. Delhi's OG stuff, man. We liked the rivalry with Delhi a lot. It was really fun.
Yeah,
There was like
again,
actual banter on social media, right?
Yeah, rivals, not enemies. thing.
Dynamo,
That's-
Ultras, and all.
Yeah.
Risha, what do you say about them? Like, dude, your fan group isn't even owned by fans. It's owned by the club. Like, मैं क्या बोलूं अभी?
Don't know who Anuj is, but we love him too. Yes, everyone loves Anuj. That's an undisputed fact.
How important are young Indian players to our squad? I think that's something we didn't discuss about Lobera and his youth projects.
Look, okay, this might take a lot of time, and I know we've been live for an hour. I don't know how much more people want to watch us. That's really
Last few questions.
Yeah,
Let's
probably
like,
last few
let's
questions,
wrap
right?
it up quick here.
But
There's 15 people still watching, and it's fucking crazy.
Seriously? Mine just is
Dude.
2.
Wait.
Oh damn. Okay. So the thing about Lobera is right. I've heard the allegation that he doesn't promote youth players, right? And I know people say that guys like Leston Kolako, Ribeiro, guys like Xavier Gama, these are the best academy products that are coming in India through any academies. So why doesn't Lobera play them enough? I think that is, and we discussed this in the morning. Ki, a lot of the people, the league is just 18 games. So if I play a youth player for 4 games, and it doesn't work out, and if I lose those 4 games, covering up in the 14 games isn't as easy, considering you're not going to win every game. So that's why we see a lot of the young Indian players perform unbelievably in the I-League, and they'll probably make it as a fringe player in the first squad of ISL. But if they're at this god level peak in I-League, then they probably become a regular in ISL, because there's no time for development. There's no time for letting the Indian young players to play, because it's shit league system, and
It's very ironic how I-League, wherein the league has relegation, actually experiments more with young players with respect to ISL, a league which has literally no repercussion on your position.
yeah, I think it comes down to the fact that people don't care. They'll get relegated. I-League goes, okay, yeah, we won't relegate you, and then not relegate them at all.
Ideally, arrows shouldn't exist, because you shouldn't have to keep a club which is just dedicated to playing under 21 players or something like that. It's just sad.
Yeah,
You're supposed to have reserve teams for that.
For me, the ideal solution for who's going to be the next Sunil Chetri, that is, the arrows doesn't exist. मैं बनूंगा अगला Sunil Chetri. But I-League doesn't exist. Not I-League, sorry. The arrows doesn't exist, and the arrows doesn't exist. All the teams in ISL, all the teams in I-League have a reserve team, and they have their own reserve competitions, and they play 18, 20, 24, 26 games each season. and constantly play and develop and train at the same standards that the senior teams trains at. That is the only solution going forward for any kind of development for Indian football.
Hemlata's asking why did CFG invest in Mumbai instead of having low fans plus no love for local club? Word.
Why can't I see that question? Okay, nah, still can't.
Choose not to see it.
Yeah, my mind does
Choose
not
not
see
to see.
stuff I does not want to see.
But no. To really answer, so we did know that they were in talks with Jamshedpur earlier, right?
Yeah.
And I think Tata didn't want to sell it, so then they came to us. But at the same time, it's because there's a lot of potential here.
I think the thing about Tata is, I think I was having a discussion, and I don't know if I should reveal the name. If they do want me to reveal the name, they'll tell it in chat because they're there in chat. So they told me that Jamshedpur was interested. Jamshedpur started off, and that's why the logo looks so similar to the CFG one.
Yeah.
Right, any CFG one. But I think because of their further than the consequent ties with Atletico, they buried
Right.
all the chances of ever coming with CFG. And for CFG,
that makes sense.
this is like a blank canvas, right? It's the perfect tier 1 city. It's probably the best tier 1 city in India, right? It's
best.
blue. It has the term city in its name. So for them, it matches all the criterias, and it's a blank canvas, and they just have to develop it however they want without a lot of consequences or repercussions.
Yeah, because we saw what happened with Melbourne Hearts, and their fans were like, "Oh no, we want to stand up for a club, and we want our colors to stay the same," and that's going from red to blue,
Yeah.
and that was huge.
Ours
But
is
I don't
blue.
think.
So it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
and I'll be like, to be honest, the club is just 6 years old. It's not as old as Hearts, obviously, so we don't have that much of a rigid identity,
Yeah.
and that allows CFG to come in and be more creative with their projects.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. So that could be one of the reasons. Let me see if
okay.
there's any other
There's
question. I think everything's pretty much done.
there's this is the 3+1 rule going to be implemented in the upcoming season?
Okay.
No, it's not. That's it.
It's only for AFC campaigns. So
Yeah.
Goa would have to use it in their Champions League.
That's it.
ATK would have to use it if they're playing their
And,
shit. Yeah,
and Bagan.
same club.
Oh crap! Oh shit! I keep forgetting.
Yeah, I think we're done with everything. Wow. Yeah.
I cannot
Lots
look.
more. Wow.
Honestly, though, this has been one of the greatest things I've ever done in my life, and it's just going
Absolutely.
live.
Yeah,
This
because
is-
especially how it started, because we're like, just to walk you all through it.
we were
just
so
tell you all.
stressed though. Before the live, we were so stressed because we couldn't get any.
So till 6:50, we were on call and we didn't know like shit. इसमें नहीं हो रहा है, YouTube पे नहीं जा रहा है.
Instagram पे जाते हैं.
6:75
Instagram
works,
जा
yeah. Yeah, I downloaded Instagram in my mom's phone here because my phone doesn't support Instagram all of a sudden. So
Yeah.
just the shit we had to do.
Yeah. but
Nice
I'm
session.
just-
Thank you.
Thank you so
For-
much, everyone, for joining in.
Who would you say are our biggest rivals at the moment? Let's just answer this last one and then we'll piss off.
I genuinely can't see the question. Oh, our
Clyde
biggest rivals
says-
at this moment?
BFC.
BFC.
BFC, yeah. I wish I could say Pune, man.
We love Pune.
Nostalgia.
We miss
But
Pune.
yeah. Wow, lots of love on chat. Thank you everyone.
Thank you so much, guys.
Basim goes hi.
Yeah. Hello and goodbye.
Bye.
Yeah, but peace.